So today, you notice we're like shifting right into Christmas mode, right? Yay! Christmas carols and everything. There just aren't enough Sundays in the month of December to cover all the carols that I'd like to cover. If anyone out there would like to lead a caroling group to go around in the neighborhood here, I would join it in a heartbeat, just to let you know. If there's the energy for that, I'd love to see it happen. Sing at the top of my lungs, regardless. I just love Christmas. I love everything about Christmas. I get some feedback pretty bad here. Yeah. I see a couple faces in the crowd going, so. Anyway. From November 1st all the way through January 1st, I just love everything about that season. Seems like November 1st, we get wonderful, cooler weather. Of course, with that comes some hurricane issues and that kind of thing, but do I care? No. I've been in Florida my whole life. So I love the Christmas season. And I want everyone here to enjoy it as much as I do, if at all possible. If not more than I do. So this is the first week of Advent. Advent means coming. It is actually a ritual that started in the Lutheran Church. It's a celebration of hope and anticipation for the coming of the Christ. So Advent is all about hope. And there is absolutely no place I would rather be today than right here with you right now. And I know that I can do this today. I'm going to do my Wonder Woman pose for just a moment. Yay. I feel better already. I'm having an interesting time, and I apologize. I didn't actually see it coming, although I should have. I should have foresaw the emotion today. Today is the 1-year anniversary of my mother's passing. And I didn't. I have been working through that grief. Remember, we talked a couple weeks ago about how Christmas is a joyful time. That how Advent season is about hope of the coming of the light within us, the light of the world, the light that is the only true sustainable power in the universe. But some of us are going to be feeling grief. Grief of the loss of a loved one. Grief of, it could be anything. There is sadness, oftentimes around the holidays. And I just happen to be one of those people. And although I've been doing my grief work and moving through it and giving it space and doing my crying time and all that fun stuff, I did not anticipate it being as hard today to get up in front of you. So I think now that I've explained that to you, I can move on. And I know that you love me.
You're amongst friends. So
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. And that I know. So thank you all very much for loving me and loving me last year when I came the day after she passed.
Wow.
You know, you guys have loved me and held me in such gentle compassion. Thank you. Okay. So, this first week of Advent, well, let's talk about Advent for just a minute, though. Advent is 4 weeks. It's the 4 Sundays. It starts the 4 Sundays before Christmas, and it ends on Christmas Eve. And with the Advent wreath, that is a big circle that represents God's eternity. And each of these 4 candles represent a virtue that Jesus taught us: faith, peace, joy, and love. Today is faith. Each week we'll light one of these candles, and then on Christmas Eve we'll light the center candle, which is the Christ candle. So at this time I'd like to invite the Triumphals up to light our first purple candle. While I read to you, this is so fun. This comes from the Advent book from Unity World Headquarters. It says, "My faith is more than a passive state of being." It actually taken from the Daily Word. In scriptures, to walk often denotes to live, act, and to conduct ourselves in a certain way. It relates to life as a journey. Once we decide where we are going, and how we will travel, we exercise our faith one step at a time. Faith is the belief in things we do not see. To walk by faith is to live in the confident expectation of things to come. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. Thank you. This year for Advent, I really want to focus on the idea that it is the flip side of Lent. Now, when I explain it to you, you'll go, well, duh. But for me, it was like this great awakening and understanding of it on a deeper level. You know, Lent is where we look at our character defects and we decide which of those character defects that we are willing to let die during Lent. We look at those things that no longer do us any good, and we decide if we're really willing to walk away from them, to let those go. Lent shows us our shadow self, and we spend 40 days looking at our shadow self. Advent, on the other hand, gives us the opportunity to look at our divinity, not our humanness, but our divinity. It gives us the opportunity to see that with each day of Advent, our Christ light can become brighter and brighter and brighter. Advent shows us our Christed self. It's the flip side. And I love that. You know, I'm not going to ruin anybody's Christmas if I tell you that Jesus wasn't born on December 25th. Okay, good. I didn't think so, but I wanted to make sure because it's important to me. Because personally, the joy of Christmas is not about a date for me. The joy for it could be any time, and I would not care. I love it. It's an excuse for me to be happy, move forward, see the God light in everyone. Now, it's a shame that, sometimes I need a holiday to decide to do that, but I do have my humanness as well, right? Christmas, it's all about hope, love, faith, joy, and peace. But it's not an accident that we celebrated on December 25th. Even though, according to Luke, chapter 2, verse 8, Jesus was more likely born in the spring, where he refers to, in Luke, it's referred to as the shepherds tending to their flock by night, which is referring to the warming of the weather. So it's more likely he was born in the spring. We celebrate it December 21st, December 25th for a reason, or whatever day you celebrate it, for a reason. In 336 AD, I know, right? That was a long time ago, but it was 300 years after the birth of Jesus. The Roman emperor of the time, Constantine, he was really wanting to get all of the Romans in the Roman Empire, all the pagans, to convert to Christianity. He really wanted this to happen. And the biggest stumbling block he had was the fact that the pagans in all the cultures in the Roman Empire, which was quite huge at the time, practiced some kind of winter solstice celebration.
Which is December 21st.
Yes, ma'am.
There you go.
That's why, yes, thank you for sharing that. I was going to blow that in, but thank you. No, and you know, I might have even forgotten it. So it is December 21st. Yeah, whatever. Thank you. And it's an important celebration. It was a super important celebration, especially, you know, in pre-modern times, right? Because the weather and the sun and the moon, all of that played huge, important parts in how people lived. If they didn't pay attention to the weather, to the sun, to the moon, to the water, they didn't eat. And this winter solstice, which is December 21st this year, is the shortest daylight day and the longest nighttime day of the year. So we have the least amount of light on the day of the winter solstice, round about there. And then every day after that, it gets lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. So it's this wonderful celebration of this magical thing that happens going into the winter and back out into the spring. Wonderful thing. And during the solstice, a really interesting thing happens, which is why, kind of how it got on the calendar. During that time, there's like 12 days where the sun does not change its position at noon, which just is never heard of except at that particular time. And it was that peculiar behavior that the pagans recognized and started celebrating, actually Yule. It was called Yule, and it was celebrated like the 12 days of Christmas. Interesting. So let's look at our own lives and see, you know, where are we coming out of the darkness? Here in Florida, I mean, just look at our weather, right? Here in Florida, 2 days ago, we just came out of hurricane season. That's a beautiful example of coming out of the darkness, right? We don't have to go get supplies anymore. We don't have to worry about the upcoming storm. We can take a breath. Our weather is the most temperate, beautiful weather right now that we'll have pretty much the whole year, right? It's just gorgeous. And no more angst or worry about the storm. We're coming out of the storm and into the light, into the period of time as the light grows brighter. On a national level, praise God, our elections are over. And whether you are happy with the outcome or not, I know that each and every one of you are thrilled that you no longer have those TV ads or those flyers coming in your mail.
Amen.
Amen. I hold the vision that one day both of those will disappear and we'll have a smarter way of communicating with each other. But for the time being, I am so glad that I'm not going to my mailbox and see piles and piles of all of that, or have to wince every time I see a commercial. Praise God. Out of that and into the new, regardless of how you feel about the outcome. It's time to move forward. It's time to walk forward doing what's ours to do, regardless. And I think if each and every one of you were to think about your life, you could look at anything in the past, recent past, that you've now come over and are looking forward to than moving forward in your life. So today is about faith. The whole time is about hope. Today is specifically about faith. And my question to you is, how do we grow our faith? I have a couple of options for you. You know I was gonna. I do want to read from the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. One of our co-founders, Charles Fillmore, defined faith and talked about it in this way. It says that faith, that is represented by the disciple Peter, is the perceiving power of the mind linked with the power to shape substance. Let's think about that a minute. It's the perceiving power of the mind. Anything that you can think about, right? Anything that you can think about. Coupled with the power to shape substance. We have the power to shape substance through our knowing that through God, everything is possible. Our desire, our love, shapes substance. The perceiving part of our mind combined with the ability to shape substance. The power to do the seemingly impossible. It is a magnetic power that draws onto our hearts our desires from the invisible spiritual substance. Faith is a deep inner knowing that that which is sought is already ours for the taking. Everything that you can perceive, everything that you want to manifest in your life is already available to you. Hebrews 11:1 says, "Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen." Faith in God is the substance of existence. To have faith in God is to have faith of God. We must have faith in God as our Father and source of all the good that we desire, our one and only true source of everything that we desire. Then faith in oneself. The ground for man's faith in himself is the truth that he is the Son of God, and as such, he inherits the divine nature. Man should have faith in himself because he cannot be successful in any line without such faith. We all have faith in something, don't we? Like our daily word reading said. So what do you have faith in? Do you only have faith in those things that you can see and touch and hear? Or do you put everything into the hands of God? Or are you somewhere in the middle? No matter where you are in this Advent season, we have the ability to expand and grow our faith. And I'm going to give you 3 ways to do it. Not 3 ways, not 3 separate ways, but actually 3 things for you to do every day. The first thing is, before getting on with your day, take a moment and ask God to direct your energies in the way that He would have you use them. How many of you are list makers? About half of you. The other half of you are secret list makers. I'm what you would call a secret list maker, because once I make the list, it disappears and it's a big secret as to where it is. Yeah. As a matter of fact, my partner has this wonderful way of making this beautiful list. And then she takes it to the grocery store, and as everything goes in the cart, she tears the side of the list exactly where she wrote it. It is beautiful. It works out lovely. But I am not allowed to leave the house with the grocery list. I am allowed to take a picture of it and get in the car. Because one too many times, I have left with the grocery list, gotten to the grocery, and called and said, I can't find the list, what was on the list? So I already know, I'm not allowed to leave the house with the grocery list. So grocery lists and lists for everything you have to do are wonderful. I admire anyone who can actually write it, keep it, and use it. But if in the morning you ask God to direct your energies toward what He would have you do, then you have to be willing to let some of the things on that list perhaps not happen today. Perhaps. Maybe all of your energies are supposed to go right into everything on that list. But what if not? Can you be open and available enough to let that be? To let God take care of the what's and where's and how's. You step into what's yours to do as you're directed. The second thing is check in with God periodically through your day. You know, is it going to hurt to say, God, thank you for this day. Please continue to use my energies in any fashion you see fit. I had a mentor once in my early spiritual development that put me on an exercise of making sure that I had God with me all day long. And to do that meant that anytime I moved from one room to another, I had to ask God to come with me. Now, I can tell you, I was no good at that. I spent most of my time going, I left God in the other room. And I physically had to go back to the other room. Hey, God, want to come with me? And I'd go back. So I did this for about a week. Now, I have never asked anyone else to do that because it was torturous for me. But it proved a really, really wonderful thing for me. I understand just how conscious taking God with me really has to be. It isn't something that I can say, I'm going to take God with me all day, and then I'm not able to just go through it. I have to check in every once in a while and make sure that God's still with me, that I am still in the flow of God every day. So the second thing is to check in with God throughout your day. And the third is at the end of your day, give thanks. Give thanks for all that you accomplished and all the blessings in your life. These are steps I've been working a lot on. I have been. As I've been balancing, the different emotions and the different feelings and the different things going on in my life, I have been practicing these steadily every day. And I can tell you that I have noticed a huge difference in myself, that I am experiencing a peace and a calm that is not coming from my ego. On top of all the sadness that has an underlying effect on everything that I am experiencing, I also have that secret list that is so long that I can't even see the end of it. Now, normally, this would cause me great angst. A few years ago, I would have been like, I have to get this done, I have to get this done. No, I can't do that, I have to get this done. And maybe even sometimes be paralyzed in being overwhelmed with too much to do. And I know that we can do that a lot at Christmas time. We can get overwhelmed with everything that we need to do and stop experiencing the hope and the experience of coming into the light, the experience of the Christ rebirth. So, I am held tight with three different things. First, I know that the list is going to go down. It's going to go down because I'm the one that built it in the first place. Unity's third principle, I'm responsible for my experience. I built the list, I can knock it down. It's going. Second is that I do every single day ask God to show me what's mine to do. What on the list, if anything, am I to accomplish today? And then I go through my day. And at the end of my day, I know that what I have done and have accomplished is exactly what I was supposed to do. I followed the energies of the day and I accomplished what I needed to accomplish. And I give thanks to God for everything that I do have to do. And all of the talents that I have been blessed with that got me going on the list in the first place. Right? So for this Advent season, ask God to direct your energies. End your day. Check in throughout your day with God. And then at the end of your day, give thanks. And so it is. Amen.